on that platform, then it'll be there.
Kathleen, you have your hand up again.
Yes, could you put the links for the AI that you're talking about into the chat for those of us who don't know about it? You said you listen to AI every week, and I'm wondering where you go.
Oh gosh, I listen to so many of them.
Pick one or two. How's that? Or maybe Bob knows.
Um,
Kathleen, have you signed up for Huey's AI conferences and get his newsletter that comes with it?
I thought I did, but maybe I didn't.
yeah, because that I do list some videos to watch, and I do and some of the tools that I talk about. But the one is that's got a big update. Oh, let's see, I got to figure out how to do that on this computer. There we go, chat. And I'll let Bob put something in about the grok, and I will put in H. I'm guessing, I hope this is correct.
And since we're recording, this will be in the notes that I share with the video.
Okay, that's a link. Let me click it, see if it opens it. Yep, that's working.
Okay, let me share my screen here real quickly. And I don't know why when I'm sharing on a second screen, there we go, they just went away. Okay, this is Mike Ungerman, and this is the Central Florida Computer Society Social Club main meeting. You're looking at the CFCS.org website, which is our landing page for the Computer Society. It has key links on there. Most of us are members of the Association of PC User Groups, but they've got an excellent website to go visit and lots of resources available. We are still honoring our friend Stan Warner, who passed away unexpectedly a couple months ago. And we have an excellent video of photos that members have submitted to us. So as a social club, I've been promoting our Discord BBS for social interaction and club coordinates. At a recent club coordination meeting, it was mentioned to me that I didn't emphasize enough how to get to the Discord and how to get an invitation. So if you just remember cfcs.org, it will always be right here. www.discord.com to get an account, because it's a social media system that you need to have an account on, and then come back to this link or copy it down in your clipboard, and you go to this link, and it will actually take you to an invitation page. And the invitation page will take you to, where are you? Pop in there. There we go. Will take you to the Discord. And the Discord is a bulletin board system. It's structured as the old bulletin boards that Huey and I used to be sysops of. It's also structured like many forums are these days. Reddit's one of them that's very similar. And there's literally thousands of what I will call servers that are sort of subject oriented. For example, I'm in the American Legion and just recently joined the American Legion Gamers Discord. And they've got all kinds of stuff set up exactly the same way. They've got their announcements, they've got their chat, they do pictures of their members have, and they find it a very easy way to go through and put information out, and then all of their members can talk to each other. We've done the same thing with CFCS. So these are two of thousands, literally, of servers that are out there. And a lot of people who have decided not to use Facebook or similar types of social media systems have used Discord and found interest groups, genealogy, bridge clubs, car clubs, you name it. If there's a club out there or a social group, chances are they have a Discord. So this is ours, and we have put our interest channels, if you will, like right now we're looking at announcements. We've got a general help desk, which we call the Ask It Basket. And then we have our main meeting, which we're doing now, and our Tech SIG and our Apple SIG and our Windows SIG. And we put the results of those meetings and those videos there. We have people who blog on a regular basis. And with Bob G here, I know he knows Tech for Senior. So even Tech for Senior gets archived here with an easy reference place to go and get the latest of their videos. And the Geeks on Tour, who are actually broadcasting right now and competing with us, has theirs listed as well. And then for those that like to track things that are Android related, Apple related, Linux related, and Windows related, we have all kinds of interesting things that get posted on the subject matter. And then we get down into tech, and this is right now, essentially, I'm going to say 90% me, but other people do contribute. I do thank Drew for King for posting a lot of interesting stuff that gets on here. But as people either come across stuff that they find interesting, they can post them in these subject forums. Well, you know, I'm a big electric vehicle guy, so I usually post things on electric vehicles, and they're there. And Huey was talking about his headphones here acting up recently, and there's some interesting stuff on some of the new headphones and earbuds that are out there. And there's all kinds of stuff that we just, if it's out there and I come across it, I usually post it. And if it's a security item, chances are it's here, and there's a few of Bob G's security videos on here as well. So there's all kinds of good stuff. And recently, we all know that we had Cyber Monday and Black Friday, and we kept track of all the sales that were on. Literally hour by hour, we were posting stuff on here and keeping things there. Yes, Bob. You raised your hand.
Bob, you're muted.
Can you put the link to reach the CFCS Discord in the chat?
Yeah, I can. What I will say is, let me go back to it.
I'm on Discord, but I don't have the link, and you can't get it from.
Yeah, it's on cfcs.org, but let me get it. I can easily do that. Yep. Let me just go back here.
Thanks.
And here's the invite. As I recall, Bob, you joined it way back when. You may find that you're already there. And it will probably prompt you for your login and password. And if you can't find it, you may have to set up a new account. But as long as we're on that subject, this is an invitation link. And because of security and the fact that this is an open website, I try not to have a permanent link here. So every 7 days, this link will change. But if I go into the chat, I think I have to stop sharing my screen to do it. So let me do that. Hang on. Stop sharing, go to chat, and CFCS Discord.
Mike, while you're doing that, can I go ahead and
Sure.
show my Discord screen?
Sure.
Okay, where to go? Here's my Discord, and you'll see over here are all of the Discord channels that I'm subscribed to, and one of them being CFCS, but you can see that I subscribe to more than one or two, like Mike does.
You've got a lot more. But if just pop up one or two just to see if they're in any different format. I'm curious
Okay.
whether they all look like the
Here's
form or if some of
Mike
them.
Cafe.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, most of them have channel and roles features updates. So it's their tech support is all in one place for all of these different companies. And so they're in the same kind of format, so it's in one place. So choose your role, help for beginners. Let's see, does this change? I'm just seeing if I can make that wider. I'm not sure.
I think you can drag it to the right.
Yeah, I thought so too, but there's nothing there.
Okay.
No. Anyway, so general chat, art hangout, and so on, community support, suggestions to the company that creates the software, and then some art fails. Those are always interesting. You can see. Uh, just the failures of some of this. Well, look at this here with his legs and
Yeah,
arms.
AI.
These are some AI stuff because it's an AI website. So and there's different ones that I use and go to, and it's all the tech support. I don't know, remember what that one is. Some of them might even be gone by now. Here's another. So they all have similar things where they may have examples of the software, they may have tech support and so on. A very good way of talking to other people using the same software that you are, including people who work for the company.
As with anything, even something like Facebook, it's how do I use this? How do I get comfortable with it? So what APCUG asked me to do was give a presentation at one of their workshops this summer. And let me just pop in here again. Get rid of the meeting chat. Okay, so in our BBS comments section, where people have asked questions about how do I use the Discord, I found a YouTube video, which there's many of them, but this is just a generic how to use Discord video. And that's a good one to take a look at. So that's pinned here and will always be here. And then when I did the APCUG presentation, although I don't think it's been published yet, it'll eventually be published, but I did a rehearsal video for the presentation so I could make sure that my presentation was all together. So that rehearsal video on basically what we're just looking at now is available to watch. So if you do get established on here, then you can just come in here and click on this and watch that video. Over here on the right-hand side is a list of members. Now, a lot of people don't see that because, let me see if I can move this down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. A lot of people don't see that because it's not on by default. And I noticed on Huey's couple of the Discords that were there, it looked just like this. You've got your channels and your groupings on the left-hand side. You've got your servers all the way over here. You've got the text area, but not on by default are the members. And so as one of the hints that we normally point out is I always keep this on, because what this does is it shows you who is actually online right now and then what their status is. So for example, Bill James has his computer on right now. It's not off and it's not sleeping. It's on and he's doing different things. He may be watching something else, but he left Discord in his system tray. He didn't actually close it. So what he's got here is this crescent moon, which means it's sleeping or he's offline, he's idle. So I know he's there. Now, Ed Weiss, whether he's with us now on our presentation today, he probably isn't, but he's on Discord and browsing. So he's got a big or a little green circle and says he's online. And here's Huey. He's online with us right now. So he's here. And here I am, and I'm here. And Steve Parker's with us. And let's see. Walter Wood's with, that's interesting. Walter Wood is on, and Walter, I'm trying to remember if that's him from Australia, or if he's one of our locals.
He's local.
He is local? Okay. Yeah, there was a guy
That's
here.
me.
Richard Bradford, I think, is from Australia.
Yeah, that's the one.
He comes on. And then we have 54 people offline, and I was mentioning
You
that.
should see me there now.
Yeah. Okay. Up here. Yeah. Online. Yeah. There's Dick. So a lot of these offline folks haven't joined recently, because this goes back to the 2021, if I remember correctly, when we first, and some of these people aren't with us anymore, unfortunately. So we still have the accounts left in here. Our good friend Ted Goodwin has 3 of them, and I've tried to walk him through getting them. Would pick one, Ted, and then we'll get rid of the other 2. But if you really want to get in and make sure that you've got a single account, and Discord says, hey, you're already signed in and you can't remember your password, and you go through the password recovery things, forgot password, send the email. And my old recovery email was Yahoo, and I don't have Yahoo anymore. So literally we had to go in here and delete some people that had email addresses that don't exist anymore, so they could come in. But at least I wanted to go through and show that, and the fact that if I remember correctly, it's every Wednesday that invitation link will change. So, and I'm not sure of the time of day, if it's on a 24-hour clock that happens from midnight, or it's from the last time I changed it. So I go in here once a week and I change that, and I post the current link. But if you click on this link and it says, sorry, this link is no longer active, you can send me an email, mikeu18@protonmail.com, or the link that gets you on the email to CFCS to get all of our member notices, and we'll add you to the TechSig channel, and you'll get an invitation, and then I can give you that link to get onto Discord as well. So we kind of use the Computer Society website as a placeholder or a landing page to give us all that information. So I wanted to share that. Okay. As long as I'm here, let me be the first in our little round robin. Huey talked during the Windows SIG of the problems that he was having with his computer and reloading Windows. And how old is that computer now, Huey, that Dell? March? Okay. I have a perfectly good tower computer. It's on its 3rd motherboard. Probably built it during one of CFCS's Build a Computer events 10, 15 years ago. But I'd updated the motherboards on a regular basis. And I wanted to get a little more portable and a little less floor footprint. And I wanted to kind of go the direction that Huey had gone originally when he moved, and downsize considerably, and get a NUC equivalent or a mini. And then in today's technology, the mini computers are in many cases even more powerful than the desktop computers. So I have been following B-Link, and this was my gift to myself. I know Bob G has recently purchased a mini as well. I know Ray Baxter's got one that he's using for a music server. And a year ago, I had gotten a fairly inexpensive and very low power B-Link for my wife's failed mini desktop. Well, not a mini desktop, a mini tower, I guess, sitting on the floor. But I was constantly going in there and having problems with that computer, and I just junked it and bought her a B-Link for about it was under $200, $189 or something like that. So it's amazing to me what you can actually get in a mini computer. This one is what I would say is, say, a medium price computer, $389. I could have spent several $100s more and gotten a top end, but it does have the latest Ryzen 9 processor, the 6900HX. Now they've got some that are the Ryzen 9s that are higher capacity capability CPUs, especially their graphics processing, and they're being advertised as being AI PCs, although I think you still have to have Copilot on it to run it. I'm not sure, but they're close to $1,000, but their prices are coming down significantly too. The thing I like about it is the size. I'm going to say cigar box, maybe 2/3 of a cigar box, and maybe 1.25 times larger in width. For the things that I need to do to start with, if you look at the ports that are on this particular one has the power supply actually built in. That surprised me. So the miniaturization, they were able to actually miniaturize the power supply, get it in there and still do everything else and just have a cord that plugs in. Steve Parker, you raised your hand.
Yeah, what is it like for cooling?
Very good, as a matter of fact. I'm going to play a little graphic, and since it's their promo graphic, I'm going to let this run. They do show a little bit in this video of how the cooling is. I think the video is mismatched with my particular model. You may see that it's a Radeon 7, but it's the same design. So let's take a quick look at this before I continue my little tirade here. Yeah, that's a mismatched model, but it is the correct one if you actually see it in the listing. So if I go back up to this, let's see if they show the cooling. No, they don't show a particular picture of it, but it's layered cooling. And let's see, here we go. In my case, here's the output. The input comes in from the bottom and comes out the sides. And as it's blowing right now, if I just take my hand and go up to it, let me just find it up here. I'm going to say lukewarm. Maybe temperature in this room right now is it usually tells me what it is, 74 degrees. I'm going to say maybe this is about 85 to 90 degrees coming out. So it's not really hot. It will go up, obviously, if I'm running a benchmark. But I think one of the concerns was cooling. I don't know, Bob, and the one that you've got, have you had any problems with cooling, or what's your perception?
No problems. Even when I'm busy doing generating videos and stuff, it's been as cool as a cucumber. I hear no noises whatsoever. When I was on my desktop, that also has 32 gigs of RAM, but I would hear the fan kicking up a storm when I'm doing video generation. I'd hear nothing on this one. And I quite often touch it because it's sitting right here, just that little piece of nothing compared to the other one. And it's just cool to the touch. Like you, a little bit, maybe a tepid. If you were warming water, it'd be tepid. That's about it. And I've never heard the fan kicking in at all.
It's pretty amazing what the technology has done. My key in part on this was I wanted the graphics capability that I have now. And I do have a Radeon graphics card in my old gaming computer. And I wanted to play a few games and just compare them. And I haven't really gotten to the point of installing the Steam games on this yet because I'm running Linux and I have to do some extra stuff to do that. But from everything that I've seen on the benchmarks for games are just as good. The other thing I wanted was I wanted to make sure, let's see if I can get over here. Yeah. Okay, so on the right-hand side, starting at the bottom of the picture are two USB 3 ports. Next to them going up are two HDMI ports, and that's what I really wanted. My monitors would take, I've got two 24-inch monitors side by side on my hutch. I think I have the exact same hutch you do, Bob, in the pictures I've seen. And so I've got each one is sitting in a section of my hutch, and it was running DisplayPort to my tower, but it had an HDMI socket on the back. So I've replaced my DisplayPort cables with new HDMI cables, and it was just plug it in, boom, they both started working just fine. Then there's a USB 2 above that. Now, why they didn't make it USB 3, I have no idea. But that works just fine with a USB hub for things like my keyboard and my mouse and my camera.
They do the same thing on my laptop too, which annoyed me, but I found out why they do it is
Why?
for a mouse. For stuff that doesn't need the higher transfer that USB 3 has.
Interesting. Well,
It's kind of silly considering the difference between a USB 3 and 2 is, negligible.
Well, I got a parts drawer, and I had a couple of USB 2 hubs over there from years ago. So that's what my keyboard and mouse are plugged into right now. Now this one, again, a lot of gaming PCs have multiple LANs. I'm not using this for games. When I first set it up, I actually didn't even connect it to my router. I just used the built-in Wi-Fi. But I figured, all right, I'll try my cable, and I'll plug, my fiber and my router and my Ethernet 6 cable, and I plugged it into LAN 1, and I get excellent speeds. And then just the other day, I said, well, I got another cable here. And a vacant port on my switch. I'll just plug that in too. So right now I've got both of those ports running, and I'm sure I can find a benchmark somewhere where I could notice the difference. But right now I don't see any speed ups, and I don't see any, but I wasn't having any buffering either. So
does the C port on the other side have
yes.
DisplayPort or power distribution?
So the USB-C is a full
DP?
I think the spec is USB 4 spec. So it's both power and it is
DisplayPort, yeah.
It can also give video. So video can come out of this if you've got the necessary hardware to go from USB-C/4 to DisplayPort, then you can get your third display that way if you want to. And I actually have a USB 3 hub, so that my USB 3 hub is plugged into the USB-C on the front. And then I've got an external M2 1 terabyte drive inside one of those chiclet type external holders. And
I was supposed to get a USB hub with mine, and when it got here, the USB hub was missing. So I contacted them and said, what's going on? What happened? You said it was coming and it's not here. They said, well, there's supposed to be a Mac. You were supposed to spend X number of dollars and you didn't. I said, excuse me, but you had a coupon. You should have told me if I used your coupon that excludes getting my hub. And then they send an apology and my hub should be here next week.
And one other feature, I have a home theater setup in my office, which is overkill. And one of my goals is portability and downsizing. And we've got a big home entertainment theater in the other room anyway. So I just said, all I really need is a little computer soundbar, something that's about a foot long and has halfway decent sound. I found one on Amazon for $29.95, and it had an audio jack, and it has an audio jack on the front. Now, it does say that it's got Realtek digital output circuitry. So I have to think that maybe that's reachable through the USB-C jack, which is USB 4 also. I'm not quite sure how I would use it. Amazon sells digital sound cards. So maybe you plug that in there and then you could get, because it has an SPDIF optical cord coming off that USB sound card. It would have been nice if they had, or maybe it's coming out of the HDMI. That would probably make sense, because right now I'm not using the sound out of that HDMI. So maybe if I wanted to use the speakers on the monitor, or if the speakers, I have to look at the monitor and see if it has a digital out. But if you have the device that can take advantage of the digital sound, it's also built in. But for now, and really, I just don't know the don't really notice the difference. I just plug it into.
So does it support the how is it, DTSX? That's the one.
Does that sound?
Yeah. I think it stands for Digital Dolby Theater Digital Sound.
Oh, yes,
Theater Sound or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. So maybe that's what's coming out of the HDMI.
Yeah.
That's probably how they're doing it. And I suppose if
And
that
it should give you the extra one for the Atmos sound.
Yeah, it could. But again, $389.
Yeah, it's like half the price of a decent video card.
And Black Friday, this was $317 something.
Oh wow.
So they lowered the price on it. This is the one I think that I was looking at. Let's see, it's the HS, I think, is the next one up. Let me see.
Mine comes with a 2 terabyte SSD, also 32 gigs of RAM.
Now this one downsized to the Ryzen 7, so I don't. Now that's interesting. It downsizes to the Ryzen 7, but it's a $600 machine.
But yeah.
12 core.
What's the difference?
Let's see. This is 12 core graphics, and this is 680. Let's see. I probably have to go to the specs to find out the graphic. 8-core graphics. No, that's
So it's AMD graphics.
Yeah, AMD graphics. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need to tackle, is how to get AMD Does anybody on this meeting happen to know how to get an AMD graphics processor driver for Linux?
Oh, that's what you and I were shooting for, the hardware driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? So what?
Friend of mine might know that used to work for ATI, but
that's what we're lacking right now.
What Drew found out, and I found out, is when using OBS Studio like Drew does, I was getting about a 1/4 second delay from my webcam through the computer and then into either Zoom or Discord. And we tried a whole bunch of stuff, and we just couldn't figure out why that 1/4 second delay was there. Maybe even 1/8 of a second, but the lip sync wasn't matched up. And it turned out that when we checked out the drivers, they were all software drivers that weren't hard. And I went to AMD on their website looking for the hardware driver, and there's a whole bunch of esoteric terminal commands that they tell you about installing this and installing that and installing the other thing. And we tried it, and I tried it, and it still doesn't recognize the hardware. So the graphics are there, but the software is interpreting them. Now, Zoom, just taking the camera straight as a USB plug-in and whatever codecs is running, there is no delay. It's just fine. But I don't know why otherwise. The other thing I was going to say, let's see, I'll just bring this down if I can. Yeah. It is on eBay. They've raised the price $455. There, okay. This one is yeah, okay, yeah, 455. And this is one of probably 30 or 40 reviews. And if you just want to get reviews of B links, and I'm sure any other minis on YouTube, they're there. So just search for B-Link Mini and you're going to get a whole bunch of reviews that you can go in. This is a fairly nice review. He does a bunch of gaming, let's see what's there, gaming graphic comparisons and benchmarks and things along
There are ways
those
to fix
lines.
this.
What I liked about mine is it's all metal construction.
I didn't get all metal. I will agree. Stop sharing. But then again, I haven't noticed. Put my hand on it. Yeah, lukewarm, really, just lightly warm. So, I guess if that had been an option, I would have taken it.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's my presentation, and we have a whole bunch of folks here. So in our tech sig, we would typically just see who's with us in the conference. And so I'm looking down at the participants. There's 20 people here. So I'm just going to give you the chance to volunteer and tell us what you've done with tech in the last month, and or what did you take advantage of over Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Huey?
Yeah, the only thing that I really bought was for the Cyber Monday was, if I can find where to share here. Share. Is this wireless lavalier microphone for iPad, iPhone, Android, but it also works on PCs and I believe as well as Macs. The right here is the item that would go in my iPad. I have a ninth generation iPad, so it still is using that. The newer ones have USB-C, and that's what's on the other side of this. So you can turn it around either way, and that's the host that goes on the computer or on the iPad or iPhone. And then there's two lavalier mics. They both can run, or you can just use one. And I used it on my iPad for a meeting where we had two speakers and they each had their microphone. There's no way to cut one off and so on with software. There is by pushing a button, but I didn't bother to show the people who were wearing them how to do that. So they were mic'd and they could talk back and forth, or one spoke and then the other one spoke, and it got on the recording on my iPad. Of course, it wasn't going out to the people. They had a different microphone for that. And it comes in a little carrying case. And it was like $42. I think there was some kind of a discount for Cyber Monday. And so I picked it up. And let me go ahead and stop the share. And I'll show you, let me go ahead and spotlight myself. So let's see, spotlight. Okay, I'm spotlighted, so you can see it's not very big. And let's see, it goes this way. There's the brand Tomo Soik. And you open it up and you can see that the microphone's got a little clip on the back, and the top is the microphone. And this container is a charger, So as soon as I drop it in that, it's charging. And then it has a USB on the bottom that will charge the charger. And so far I've used it on my iPad. This worked very well. I can't use it on this laptop because I don't have the right connector. I don't have a USB-C, and of course I don't have the Lightning. And let me see, how do I remove the spotlight? There we go.
I'm just thinking all the times we were doing hybrid meetings and we were passing wireless handheld microphones around. We had a lavalier with a 20-foot cord. I had a monopod with my Samsung microphone, which actually I'm using right now, but it used to be on the end of a monopod stick, and we would pass that around and have people speak into it. So that's a perfect solution, for an in-person meeting, like you were saying, or
And
of
it's
any sort.
relatively inexpensive and it seems to work fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Drew, what have you been digging up here of late?
Well, lately, on the sides when I'm not doing research for you for your computer, um, I recently found I've been doing a lot of note-taking app investigations. As I'm at the point in the year where I have to decide whether I'm going to pay to renew my subscription to Evernote or not. And I've been using a program called Joplin for most of my note taking. And I recently installed a program called Obsidian. And even if you are not involved or interested in being involved in having a note taking app, all of us visit a lot of websites and read interesting articles that you might like to refer back to at a later date. And I found of all of the note-taking apps available, some of them have browser extensions that let you take web clips of websites that you go to. And this, I think, is by far the best web clipper that I have found. So if anybody on the meeting is interested in a simple, lightweight way to keep track of the history of the websites that you visit that you would like to go back to, this program is available on all platforms. It's free of charge, and it has a nice web clipper that's integrated into all your popular browsers. And so I've started using that as a way of archiving interesting articles and things that may not be on the internet a year from now. If you bookmark a website, there's no guarantee that that bookmark is going to stay there forever. And it may not be bookmarked on all of your computers. So this is a way of keeping all of your favorite website articles in one place. And you can put it on your iPhone, you can put it on your Android phone, Windows, Linux, Mac, or you can just do it on one computer.
How does it compare to Evernote? Have you used Evernote?
Well, I've been an Evernote subscriber like Huey is. I've been a paid subscriber for over a decade. Evernote is a far more sophisticated program. And offers more features. Obsidian works in a format called Markdown, which is a popular format for note-taking apps these days. Evernote uses a proprietary format, and you can add pictures, you can add files, and they support. You can either pay to synchronize through their service, or you can use a third-party free synchronization program, which is what I'm doing, is a community plugin that synchronizes through my Microsoft OneDrive. And I found it to be a really good way of documenting. It goes out to the web page. It grabs the title, the author, the publisher, when it was created, and it makes an excellent representation of what the website is, and so that you can search for any word in your websites going forward. So
Could you put the link into the chat, please?
sure.
And then save that link and post it on Discord under utilities.
Yep.
But I sense an APCUG workshop segment, uh, or a tech for seniors segment.
I got an email from Judy just yesterday asking me where my presentations are for the month of December. I just put in the homepage. It's called obsidian.md.
Okay.
Is the homepage.
Thank you.
And it's available on every platform for free of charge. And the plugin is free for the browser. And
free is good.
I recommend it highly for people that want to keep track of important websites they visit.
Does it cut out the ads on a web page, or is it the whole web page?
It takes the web page as it is. So I use a system-wide web ad blocker. So none of my notes have ads in them. But if you don't use any kind of an ad blocker, then yes, the ads will be in the picture too. After it's captured them, you can delete them from the file.
And is it doing it as text, or is it a picture of the page?
It's doing it in what's called Markdown format. It's not text. It's not HTML. It's popular amongst programmers.
So you can make notes on the page, but you can't really change the wording. Is that correct?
It's a full editor, so you can do almost. It can be an Evernote replacement. You can make notebooks. You can add files. You can attach pictures. Some people convert from Evernote to Obsidian. You lose some of the functionality, but they are community plugins. The one thing that it can't do is directly import all of your Evernote data. And you can synchronize securely so that it keeps all of your data is private between you and your other devices. It has end-to-end encryption, so you put a password on each of your software products so that even your data in the cloud is encrypted.
Okay, I just ran through the website and shared it, so it's also in chat. Thank you very much. Bob J, what'd you get for Cyber Monday? Or
I got one more item.
Oh, you got one more? Okay, we'll go back.
This is good for a senior group. There are a lot of things that are good for children that are good for seniors. And my niece has a young son that has trouble brushing his teeth. He's like 2 or 3 years old. And I just bought for him for the holiday and his birthday off Amazon. The brand is called Autobrush. And basically what it is it's an electric sonic toothbrush, and the brush heads that they sell for it are in the full shape of your mouth, and they have bristles for the upper and lower ends of your mouth. So you are able to sonically brush your upper and lower teeth all at the same time, reducing the amount of time and effort that it takes to brush your teeth. And I'm waiting for her to get her son's first dental report back from the dentist, and then I'm going to decide if I want to buy one. They have them with adult head sizes as well.
Put it in the chat, please.
Sure.
Thank you. Bob G.
Oh, let's see. What did I get? I don't know. Can I share?
Sure. Oh, well, I think I have to give it to you.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Huey has to. I'm just the co-host.
Hang on. Participants. Where is Bob? There he is. There you go.
That's what I got, an early Christmas present. We don't do Christmas in my house per se because I don't need to buy something for Alice and she doesn't need to buy something for me. So we buy ourselves what we really want for Christmas. For me, it was time for a new computer. The one I've been using and relying on really shouldn't be running Windows 11, even though it is. But I know one of these days that's going to come to an abrupt halt. I don't want to be in the middle of something when it happens. So it's a mini computer, but it's got more power than most powerhouses. I'm, I'm, and if you already have a keyboard and you already have a monitor, all you need is that little piece, and that's the end of that.
It's like we're almost identical in our form factor size.
Yep, yep. Now this one is all metal. That was one of the things that drew me to this one. Now, it didn't have speakers, and I don't have speakers, so I went and got a Walmart special for $10. That's two speakers, one attaches on each side of the monitor. Now, you're not going to use this to do Beethoven's Fifth, okay? That's not the kind of speakers this is, but it's good for my purposes. I'm not looking to get audiophile music out of it, but it works for everything that I do. It plugs into well, there's a port just to plug the speakers in, and then it uses USB for power. So that took care of my speakers. I had the monitor, it was a 32-inch, so that's bigger than the other monitor on the other set. So I'm perfectly tickled pink.
Very nice. How was the process of getting your Windows apps from the old computer to the new one? I know you were talking about Microsoft taking care of most of it.
Yeah, almost all of it. There were some programs I had to reinstall, but I had a listing of all the programs, and it was also a good time to not install all the programs. Just because you've got them and you're testing them and you're talking about them or making videos about them doesn't really mean that you use them once they're on the system. You just forget about them. They take up space and resources. And this was again the perfect time to say, that's good. Now I'm going to install the programs I actually use and forget all the others. But all my settings automatically came back because I signed in with my Microsoft account. So the settings that I had on the other computer, those are the settings that came over for this. This was again a Windows 11. So I had no surprises. No, gee, how do I go find this and find it's not, didn't have to do that. It was the same as if I was sitting in front of the other computer, except some programs I had to reinstall.
Where
Had all those programs been downloaded from the Windows app, I wouldn't have even had to do that. That's one of the advantages of downloading through the Microsoft Store. If you download through that store and you change computers, well, you can reinstall them all automatically through Microsoft. If they weren't downloaded through the Microsoft Store, it'll tell you that, hey, this is the app that you had or the program you had, but you have to reinstall it manually.
How about your key data? Is it on the computer or in the cloud?
Uh, my key data as far as what?
Documents, photos, video.
No, all of that stuff is back on my system. It was in the cloud, and I told it, no, I want this, and the other thing resident on the computer, and that's where it now is. Some stuff remains up in the cloud because I only need it occasionally. There's no need to have it resident on the computer. Besides, it's already resident on 2 of the other computers. So, how many places do you really need all that data?
Good. Well, it may well be one of these days that if you're not buying a notebook in the majority, you're going to see all minis in all the stores
Mm-hmm.
at the rate we're going.
Yep.
It's the form factor du jour.
If where you're going to visit already has a monitor for you and a keyboard, all you got to do is take this little thing with you, and it fits in your pocket, really.
Yeah. You just plug it in.
Yep. The whole package, when it was delivered, was 5 pounds. And out of the 5 pounds, I think that at least 2.5 were packaging.
Is there any room left in it to be able to add anything to it?
Yes, you can upgrade it amazingly. This can be taken apart and you can still do upgrades. It has capacity for 64 gigabytes of RAM.
And a
It
second
already has a
M2.
2 terabyte SSD in it that came with it. Considering the other computer has 1 terabyte SSD and I have 3/4 of it empty, it'll be a long time before I fill this one up.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, that's what I was talking about before in the other conference about the stacked M2 sockets.
Yep.
So you just take the heatsink off the top one, and then you'll find the primary unit sitting there. You actually remove the primary unit, and below it is a secondary socket, and the secondary socket has its own heatsink. So you put your secondary M2 in the bottom one, put the heat seat on top, put the primary in, put its heatsink on, and close it all back up, and you now have 2 M2s inside the case.
Yeah, and they have nice videos that show you exactly how to do the upgrades on it if that's what you decide to do.
There's some older generation in almost the same form factor, which the tops are configured to take a 2.8 millimeter SSD, the rectangular type SSD with a socket to plug it into, and the fans circulate the air around it. But I didn't want to do that. I've got an external case where I'm going to take my 500 gigabyte that's coming out of my tower, and I'm going to just put that in and plug it into my USB hub. Since you're on here, Steve, what'd you buy for Cyber Monday or Black Friday?
Oh boy. Yeah, I sure did. I needed backup of my system, so I decided that it didn't make sense to go with the 2.5-inch drives anymore, because the biggest you could get was 6 terabytes, and I needed more than that. So I went for the full size 3.5 drives, and they had a Black Friday sale on Best Buy and Amazon that lasted all of about 5 minutes before Black Friday, and they were sold out. I contacted Western Digital directly and was actually able to get the same deal. So they came in bundles of 2. So I got 4 of the drives, and they're 22 terabytes apiece.
Wow.
And I've already got a DAS, which is it's like a network attached storage, only without the networking part. So it's essentially the same box, and you plug it into your computer with a USB cable. So unfortunately, the back order is so long, it's going to be February the 9th before they even ship them. But no.
Now, once it's connected to the computer, can you still access it as if it were a NAS over
Yeah.
local area network?
Yeah, just it's going through my computer. So I'd access it it's just extra storage on my computer. And if I attach set up my computer to be, the same as a NAS would, then it's extra storage on the NAS without having to pay the extra fee for all the networking stuff in a box and the extra hassle of, the extra expense and more complexity and everything else. It pretty much eliminates that, and it's faster because it's directly accessing it rather than having to go through all the networking protocols. And then if I decided later on I had to have a NAS, I can get one and plug this into it, and it's an expansion to it.
Are the discs in a RAID array, or are they just individual?
Yeah, that's the point that I was trying to decide whether it would be better to set up a RAID or to use them just as called a JBOD, which is just a bunch of individual drives. I still sort of 50-50 as to which one to go with on that, but I got a couple of months to decide, so I should be able to figure it out by then.
Okay.
And it saved altogether about close to $700. So it was definitely work. Well, I mean, obviously I wasn't the only one that realized it was a good deal because it sold out before it even started.
Okay, Dick Vogel, did you do any shopping on Cyber Monday or Black Friday?
Well, I got some new Nooks.
Incoming voice call.
I was trying to keep Barnes and Noble in business, so I opted to go for Nooks rather than Kindles for ebooks. And I picked one up for my wife, and then I picked up a second for my daughter. And they're bigger than the one that I have, and seemed very reasonable. And they were very prompt. I ordered it on, I think, Friday, and it came in on Saturday. And all you have to do is sign in with your name, and all the books that were on your old Nook are immediately available on the new one.
Can you also access Amazon's?
Incoming voice call.
I'm sorry, my phone is constantly ringing here. Are you able to access the? Do you have a Kindle account? Or
I do not have a Kindle account.
okay, does it support that, or it's strictly its own format?
Don't know. I'll have to look. We use Libby and frequently get books from the libraries. And the libraries, that's an interesting story too. The libraries seem to either favor Nooks or Kindles. And sometimes you can get a Nook book and they don't have a Kindle version, and vice versa. So you may say, hey, well, I'm going to stick with Amazon and hang in there with Kindle. But you may find that if you use libraries, that is not always satisfactory. You cannot put Nook books on a Kindle. It will not accept them.
Interesting. Okay. Any other tech? That was your.
Well, the other thing I got prior to that are the headphones I'm using. They're a Jabra, Jabra, and the reason I got them was because I attended a Zoom meeting. It was a genealogy Zoom meeting, as a matter of fact. And the guy sounded so natural, and he had these headphones, and they had the little lights on the earpieces. I thought that's really neat. That shows that you're listening to something, so somebody walking by knows you've got them active. And so at the end of the meeting, I asked him what he was using, and he told me the make and model. So I went ahead and ordered them, and I'm very, very impressed. I swear it does a much better job with voice quality than the Logitech camera that I have, which has a microphone built in. So I'm very, very happy with it. When I go to mute, That's all I have to do. I don't have to hunt for the spot on my my Zoom page to find it or use my keyboard. So it's very, very good. It's very comfortable. And
Sounds
so
good.
it,
Sounds good.
interestingly enough, it's made in Denmark. That's it.
Okay. How about out in Chicago, Tim? What did you take advantage of in any of the sales? Whoops. Uh,
Sound like a chipmunk, Tim.
I don't know if you can see I don't know if you can see my hand, Tim, but you're sounding like Mickey Mouse. There's something wrong with the audio. Okay. Well, we tried.
You may want to get a Jabra headphone.
Tim, you're a chipmunk.
It's you're I don't know. It's something we'll talk about the technology that's causing the problem. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's taking your sound and then accelerating it. Okay, Walter Wood, what did you do
Yes,
here?
sir. I mentioned it, I think, a couple meetings ago that I'd got MetroNet fiber installed, and they gave me a Aereo Pro 6E router, and that replaced my T-Link router that I had, which I still have for that matter. And I put it in a slightly different location, but it's still central to the house. But I found that when I'm in the back corner of the house, it starts buffering on me. I'll be listening to music and I'll get about 15, 20 seconds of music, and then I get a pause for 15 or 20 seconds, which got kind of annoying. So I did some checking, and during Black Friday, Amazon had the Aereo extender, the Aereo dual band mesh Wi-Fi extender 6. It's normally $70. They had it for $45. Now the one I got is marked as a what does it say here? A certified refurbished Amazon. I figured for saving that much money, you know, if something happened, I can always send it back to them and get them to replace it or whatever. It was really hard to set up. I opened the Aereo app on my smartphone, hit plus, and followed a couple directions. It was working within minutes, and I no longer have buffering back in that corner of the house. So I was very happy with that. Like I said, the list is $70.
Do
I
they
paid 45.
do they consider that an extender, or is it actually a mesh making
But it says, well, it says Aereo 6 dual band mesh Wi-Fi 6 extender.
Yeah, so they've got that mesh communications.
Right. There is no output jack on it. All you have is a power jack.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, so far I'm happy. I used it this morning, I guess, back in that corner of the house for the first time, and it didn't buffer on me, so I guess it did what it was supposed to.
Good.
I started to put on my Christmas list. I said, no, it's on sale now. I got to get it.
Yeah, some of us are buying our own Christmas presents and using them before the 25th.
Yep.
Okay, I'm working my way up the list here. Elizabeth Bradley, would you like to share anything that you picked up over the sales days, Black Friday or Monday? If you would, unmute, and
There it is.
there it is.
I did not get anything. I was left out this year. I just said nope. So I didn't get any toys yet. But Christmas is coming. I will probably do well then.
Yeah, and especially the after Christmas sales.
Well, you know, I want a new computer, but I have this problem that I feel Windows 12 is probably coming out soon. whether we think so or not. Or there's too many sales right now on 11s, and there's a reason. So I'm kind of just playing it easy. And I'll see.
I have seen one or two articles talking about a Windows 12 of some sort, but nothing that comes to mind yet.
Well, we'll just play it by ear. I have a lot of toys already. So we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie, would you like to share with us? Okay, I'll work my way back. Tom Odell, would you like to share with us?
I have nothing. I'm just a very beginner here, so I'm listening to all you guys.
So you didn't take advantage of anything on Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
No, I was thinking of buying a desktop, but it looks like I should be looking at minis instead.
Well, we
Sounds
don't
like-
want to twist your arm, but it does seem to be the way technology is going.
Yes, yes. They're very, it looks like they're very better than competitive, that's for sure.
Okay. What are you using? What are you using now?
I'm just have a little laptop, Lenovo laptop.
Well, that's the big thing. If a laptop form factor works for you, there's no reason not to stay with it. It's just if you want something on your desk and you want to have a monitor and you want to have a big keyboard and you want to have a mouse associated with it, you can close the laptop up and use the ports and plug those in. There's even a thing called a docking station that many of us used years ago. And I know I used that when I was working for the government. They had laptops that we just took to our desk, plugged them into a docking station, and used the monitor, keyboard, and mouse.
Yes. Well, I was thinking of using dual monitors also.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a mini would be a good choice.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you guys for all your help because I don't know what I'm doing. I get myself in big trouble real quick. But thanks for all your help. I really appreciate it.
You're part of the
A
problem.
mini is one way you can take your desktop and put it in your pocket and carry it with you.
Yeah, that sounds like that is correct. It sounds like that's correct, and that's a big thing too.
Yep.
And I don't have to have a big desk for it either. Right now, I'm down in my living room and not upstairs, and so that looks like something that's easy to put on my dining room table that I'm using for a desk. So it sounds like a very good alternative, and I'm literally going to look into that.
I
With that.
agree.
Thank you so much for all you guys' help. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Dwight Johnson, would you like to share with us? I'll move up the list, and if you still would like to share, raise your hand and we'll come back to you. Barbara, have you taken advantage of any of the sales?
I bought an iPad mini just recently, yes.
Oh, wow.
And I replaced it with my old iPad mini. And I'm an Android user. I bought the iPad because my family uses the Apple products, and I figured it was cheaper to see them on FaceTime rather than hop on an airplane and fly out to see them. So that's why I'm forced to use the Apple. And then, of course, downloading some books, from Amazon.
But you've been in the Apple architecture for a number of years. So
Yes, and I
comfortable with that.
really don't like it, but I use it because I'm forced to. Yeah, I like the Android better. I even have, a Samsung telephone, which I'm comfortable with.
One thing about the iPad that I have that I really like is I bought one that not only was Wi-Fi capable, which they all are, but I
Mm-hmm.
also got the cell availability.
Right, which I
And
didn't.
that was about $100 more. Plus, I got to pay so much a month. But that means it's like a phone. I can take it anywheres and have access. And that's
Right,
why I really like that. And it's light.
right. Well, that's what I just use, FaceTime uh on it, dial up, Gmail to contact people.
Good. Okay, I see Dwight got his system back up again and you're unmuted. So would you like to share, Dwight?
I'm sorry, Mike. I just had just walked in into my office when you asked the question. What were you discussing at the time?
We're discussing Cyber Monday and Black Friday. Did you treat yourself at all?
I don't venture out in either one of them for years. In fact, I don't need any more stuff. I'm trying to get rid of stuff right now. The only thing I bought recently is I bought a new iPhone for my birthday, which is back in April, and I'm considering updating my iPad. Other than that, that's my if I buy anything in the future, that would be it.
I can't help but notice your background. I'm a naval flight officer, retired. What ship am I looking at behind you?
I am a retired senior chief electrician, and what you're looking at is the oiler on the left-hand side. That was me, USS Caloosahatchee. That's what I retired off of, the Caloosahatchee.
I was on Ranger, Midway, and Independence.
Okay. I had orders to the forest fire, but I didn't make it.
Well, thank you for your service, sir.
But I had two minesweepers and retired off an oiler.
Thank you. Kathleen, did you go out for Cyber Monday or Black Friday?
Well, two reasons. No, I'm not financially able to do much of anything. And secondly, I figure I first need to learn how to work the items I have. It seems like years and years of taking tech classes and it just sort of all kinds of swirls together. And anyway, I'm thankful for this group, very helpful. And I pick up things. So at least when somebody says something, I think, oh, yes, I've heard that term before. Now, I may not necessarily be able to define what it is, but at least I've heard it. So anyway, maybe next year. Thanks.
Okay. Well, we all can learn something. I don't care how long we've been in tech. We're always learning something new, and these conferences are ways for us to share back and forth. Tech for Seniors is a great resource. I know I've seen you on there as well. And the other thing I would suggest is on YouTube, look up APCUG's channel. You can just in the YouTube search type in APCUG, and they document, they archive all of their presentations that they've given, usually 6 months to a year after they've had the workshops or the safaris. And you may find a subject that you're working on that one of those training sessions would help you with. Okay.
I will
Okay,
tell
folks.
Kathleen that even those of us who've been in this for a number of years find that tomorrow is going to bring some brand new things.
I think Elizabeth
Absolutely.
had a question.
Or new ways to use the things we already have.
Yes.
Okay, so this has been our main meeting for the Central Florida Computer Society, but it also was our Tech SIG. We missed our November meeting because I was off by a week, and we felt that Christmas Eve, which would have been the Tech SIG for December, wasn't appropriate to hold the Tech SIG on. And so we decided to do that this month. Next month, we'll probably have a speaker. Maybe I can twist Drew's arm again to come up with a subject that will occupy all of us for the meeting. If not, I will go to the APCUG Speakers Bureau, and we will have an interesting presentation next month following the Windows SIG. Any last minute comments by anybody? Yes, Tom.
Yes. Oops. Yeah, I'm on. Can I use a Wi-Fi with a mini?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. That was the first way I hooked it up before I plugged it into my
Okay.
to my router.
Because I have a download speed of like over 400 right now, which is much more than adequate. Thanks, guys. Oh, by the way, I did get something new. I got a new iPhone 16 Pro and a new watch, iWatch 10. Now I got to learn how to use them.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Huey not to terminate this meeting, to keep it up. We've got some administrative things that we would like to do with Drew and with Dick and yourself, Huey, if you'd like to join us. But I will ask everybody to go ahead and leave the meeting so that the four of us can do administrative stuff.
Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome. Let me just go ahead and get participants up here for a second. Okay, there's just the four of us. I just wanted to make sure. Oh, I've got five
Stop
on
the
me.
recording.
Yeah, I need to stop the recording. Hang on.